Hello, everyone. I'm Elizabeth McMillan, the editor at equestrianprofessional.com, and welcome to Smart Sales Skills for Horse Professionals. And so for tonight's presentation, we're pretty excited about it. One of the things we love to do is to bring in speakers who have had success both in the mainstream business world and in the horse business. This type of speaker is difficult to find. However, we believe it's worth the extra work to locate them because when we do find them, they're able to bring our listeners an absolutely invaluable combination of expertise, knowledge, and practical application. And Jeff Johnson is just such a person. His extensive experience as a sales coach involved training some of the world's largest sales forces, including such companies as IBM and Pfizer. As co-owner of Impulsion Unlimited dressage horse sales, Jeff adapted these techniques for use in the horse world. So whether you are actively selling horses or simply want to grow your customer base, I think you're going to find this session really valuable. So without further ado, here is Jeff.
Good evening, everybody. It's great to be here. Thank you so much for the introduction, Lizzie. When Lizzie contacted me about this particular event, I got very excited about it because anybody that knows me or has worked with me in a selling environment, whether it be in the mainstream or through the business that we do with our horse marketing, realizes that I have a tremendous amount of passion. And one of the things that I've seen throughout the years is that many of the professionals in the horse business are fantastic and very talented at what they do. But one of the bigger challenges is being able to translate into that quote-unquote sales world. Makes a lot of people uncomfortable because, and it's not just people that are in the horse business or horse-related businesses, but everybody gets uncomfortable when we start thinking about sales. You know, what comes to mind initially is that idea of the used car salesman, the person that's, trying to sell you something. Reality is that we hate to be sold, but a lot of times we like to buy. So it got my attention. I said, this is fantastic. Let's see what we can do together. But one of the things that as I started to build the presentation out, I wanted to draw a very clear distinction between sales and marketing. This is something that I talk about quite often when I'm working in the business world, but in what I see with websites and marketing and how we build our businesses out, I think that a lot of times there's kind of this blurring effect that takes place where we think that we've got a great website and the people come and that's how our wares get sold, whether it be our training, the young horses that we're producing, or even the made horses that we're trying to sell to others. So I wanted to kind of start off with what I see as a distinction that when we talk about marketing, what we're talking about is products. We're talking about the product could be the horse, it could be your training, it could be your boarding facility, but it's what it is that you have that is of value to someone else. Positioning. Positioning is all those ways that you get things out in front of people. It can be your web presence. It can be, the print advertising that you're doing. It can be word of mouth. It's a number of different places that it can come from, but it's, your statement. It's what it is about your product and your business. That's how you're positioning yourself within the marketplace. Your marketplace, like in our case, we would look and say that, the average person that comes to us is a woman that is 45 to 60, that's usually a lower to mid-level dressage rider. So when we talk about our business and positioning, that's where the focus of the things that we do, whether it be our website and so on, positioning to that type of an individual. Promotion. The promotion side of marketing is, are we using Facebook or do we have a blog page? Do we have a large mailing list that we're marketing out to? But the end result of, what marketing is, if I had to summarize it, marketing doesn't sell anything. Marketing, if it's a purchase like perhaps a book or something that you pick up, marketing will help to sell. But the big difference is that marketing is all about creating interest to get a person to take an action so that the real, what I'm going to use the word selling, can begin. And that's where the differentiation comes in, is that selling is really about understanding what is it that other person needs, matching that up with what our capabilities are. What is it that we do well? If we find that there's a good match, then selling becomes a value transference. They're exchanging, whether it be money or services, for what it is that you're producing. So I wanted to get that distinction out because what we're going to talk about here tonight is selling. And I'm going to take some of the fear out of that by allowing you to see a process that is used throughout the world. If you were to look at a sale, any type of a sale, and break it down to its simplest terms, there are really four things that happen. We've seen this over and over again in the business world. You think of a formal meeting. There's formal introductions. Everybody shakes hands and so forth. But the fact of it is, even in the most simple sale, whether it be a telephone call with someone, there's always a brief period of introduction. And that's the point where you're trying to break the ice a little bit, get the jitters off, recognizing that you're in this, quote-unquote, selling situation. But from a seller's perspective, there are some key things that we want to do in order to make this interaction with the individual productive for the other person first and us as well. And so one of the things that we'll want to do is we want to establish permission to lead the interaction. This is a little bit of a difference than a lot of us are used to, because when someone calls us, typically they're immediately in control because they're asking the first question. And quite often we're all, happy to answer those questions and continue to answer the questions. We may reveal more information than we intended. We may have revealed something inadvertently that we didn't intend to, and we have no idea where, the person is going after they get off the phone with us. So the introduction, one of the things that we'll want to do, and we'll talk about in detail on how to do this, but how to gently get permission to then lead the call. The next step is going to be understanding. This